And welcome. We are going into the full moon in Sagittarius in a week on June the 14th from when I am recording this video. I'm going to talk a little bit about the archetype of Sagittarius, what's happening on the bigger landscape, if you will, coming out of a very intense eclipse season that we just had recently, and what this means for you and how to work with the energy at this time. So I just have to also mention that I am not an astrologer, although I do work on some of the practices to incorporate into my practice for transformation. So what I can offer you is guidance for working with the full and new moons for transformation, and also piece together some of the energies that are happening within the bigger landscape of our collective, what's happening maybe in the world, and again, for your own transformational journey. All right, so we have the full moon in Sagittarius on the 14th, and I will leave a link below for you to go into your own time zone for the exact time that it is going to be arriving where you are located. I feel it is going to be a really nice complementary to the transformation that we've gone through from the full moon in Scorpio a month ago. So the full moon in Scorpio was part of eclipse season. It was a lunar eclipse. It is a total lunar eclipse. During eclipse season, we started off with the new moon in Taurus, then the full moon in Scorpio, which was very transformative. So even if you didn't work with the full moon in Scorpio, you definitely, I'm sure, on some level would have felt the energy because it was quite intense. And that full moon was very much of death and rebirth, transformation, purging the old to make space for the new, so that we can break free of limitations, so that we can let go of energies, beliefs, thoughts, attachments, anything that just isn't serving us anymore, so that we can step towards our full potential, so that we can rise higher, essentially. So then we arrived in the new moon in Gemini, which started things off 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago. And it was a really nice opening for us to connect with our intelligence, to connect with our voice, and to create a new opportunity based on what we shed from the past during the full moon in Scorpio. So if you almost think of it as a long duration of transformation from that full moon in Scorpio, which we're still going through. So remember that, and I've mentioned this before, there's going to be a 6-month period where whatever happened during that full moon is going to play out during the 6 months. So almost look at the next new and full moons as part of that bigger story, as part of that bigger transformation, if you will. And you can use the new and full moons to continue that process, to work with the energies, to further your evolution, to further your growth, and to create the change that you want. So now we're in the full moon in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is very much a truth seeker. It's a fire sign. It is mutable energy, and it is very adaptable. It likes change. It likes adventure. It's very optimistic. It likes the truth, but not just the truth within the greater truth. It's also connected with its own internal truth, truth from higher self, truth from internal knowledge and understanding of who we are individually, and what matters for us the most, and what we are going to create in our life based on a place of meaning that's in alignment with our higher self. And that is a very strong point and a strong factor of where we're transitioning to after all of the transformation from the full moon in Scorpio, moving to the new moon in Gemini to begin a new chapter. And I've mentioned this in other videos as well. When we work with the new moon, we have an opportunity to start a new chapter in a way, or to wipe the slate clean and to set new intentions. And so when we have the new moon, we set our intentions, we know what we want, we become clear with our future dimension. And then the full moon comes up and essentially is a time for us to release anything that's getting in the way of us fully aligning and claiming our future. And it is an ongoing process. It is not an overnight thing. So it is continual work, chipping away at these energies. But when you work with the moon energy, it amplifies your transformation. It amplifies the change that you want. So it supercharges your manifestation. It supercharges your transformation, because it's energy that we can work with, it's energy here, rather than us working on our own transformation separately, which is fine. And that's completely, it serves a purpose, and that is completely okay. However, when we work with the moon, we get that much more benefit from it. So the full moon is, again, all about releasing. It is a time to release any limitations for you to claim the intentions that you set. Now, we all have limitations. They could be fear, it could be resistance, it could be anger, frustration, feeling stuck, not able to see the end in sight. You know, we all go through these moments, and especially lately, I feel that over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of change, and we go through the peaks and the valleys, right? We go through the peaks of understanding, a shift, a change, awareness, seeing things differently, having insight, and then we might dip down into, well, now what? Now I feel stuck. What if this doesn't work? Where am I going with this? And we all go through these. These are the motions that we go through to evolve, to push ourselves, to challenge ourselves, to step out of our comfort zone, to see what works, to see what doesn't work. But it all adds up to this point where we get to understand more about who we are, what is important for us, and what do we need to do to make the change that we need to make for us to live to our full potential. And that is in all areas of life. It's relationships, it's your own personal journey, it is your career, it's everything. It's relationships with the outer world, all of it. All right, so here we are, full moon in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is the truth seeker. So knowing who you are at a fundamental level, who you are and what matters the most for you. And having that truth within yourself, aligning with your authentic self, aligning with your higher self, what you feel called towards. And if you worked with the new moon in Gemini, you may have set your intentions. And now we're coming into this full moon in Sagittarius, which truthfully I feel is a beautiful complement to that full moon in Scorpio that we had, where we get to finalize a shedding of the old that just needs to go for us to really fly higher, for us to rise higher. So this is, as I mentioned in my other video with the new moon in Gemini, coming out of that full moon in Scorpio, it is all about rising higher. And Scorpio has an archetype of the rise of the phoenix. We shed the old so that we can be reborn. And we do this cycle every now and then. I don't want to say all the time. For some of us, it might be feeling like all the time, but it is a cycle that we need to go through for purification, for understanding more about what we want, who we are, what we desire, what needs to change in order for us to, again, align with our authentic self and to claim the life we want. So this is all about releasing the full moon. The full moons are about releasing, and also about things coming to the surface as well. So the full moon brings up a lot. It shakes up a lot of energy within us. And if you haven't worked with the full moon before, then I'm sure you've heard of a lot of the crazy things that happens around the full moon, because it does affect everyone. Even if they're not aware of being affected by the energy, it does play a huge part. It does impact pretty much all of us, I would say, at some degree, at some level, right? So sometimes we might find ourselves, it might be hard to sleep at night. We might be anxious. We might have a lot of emotions coming to the surface. There might be confusion. There might be things within the body also being activated. Within the mind might feel scattered. There might be a lot of ideas. There might be a lot of stories. There might be a lot of things from the past starting to surface. So remember, I've mentioned this before as well, when the full moon peaks, it's like a big detox. It shakes energy up within us. So stored memories, stored emotions, things that just need to go. So we get to face those things, and we have to face them in order to release. And when we release, we move on and we rise higher, we become more empowered, we become more confident, and it's a continual journey. So again, back to the Sagittarius archetype, it is very much of aligning with our authentic selves, aligning with what is important for us, who we want to be as the future as well, what changes we need to make at this time to set course for the direction that we feel called towards. And it is very much about being strong with that, being really clear and strong with the decisions that we might need to make or might want to make in order to create the future that we want. It's also about assessing what has happened over the last month since the full moon in Scorpio. What new emotions have come up? What changes have taken place? And what new awareness do you have since that time? And that is going to offer you clues for you to release what might be holding you back from fully moving in this direction. Maybe it's a new direction altogether. Maybe it's a component of your life that is new for you. But whatever this is, it's all about aiming towards your future and aiming towards your destiny and aiming with intention based on your authentic self and based on what is important for you, what you feel drawn towards. So you aim the arrow towards your future. You aim it towards your truth. And if anything is holding you back, the what ifs, what if I fail? And sometimes too, it's very subconscious as well. There could even be just a heaviness or being stuck in situations that may have been familiar, But internally, you might feel that, yeah, it's time to move on. I need to move on from this because it's not serving me. It's not helping me, and it's not healthy, or it's deterring me from stepping into my future, into the future I want. And it takes courage. It takes courage. It takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of dedication, but you'll know what you need to do, and you'll know the direction you need to go in. And all you need to do is point yourself in that direction and start releasing what doesn't serve, anything that's holding you back. We all have a divine destined plan. We all have amazing options and opportunities waiting for us. It's just as a matter of us to claim it. And that means for us to point ourselves in that direction and have the courage to make sacrifices or cut things out that aren't healthy for us anymore, or focus on maybe being selfish, which is okay, because we need to be in order to get to where we want to go, right? Otherwise, we're going to hold ourselves back. So again, there are many things, many options, many opportunities available for us, and our divine path is always right there. We just need to have the confidence. We need to let go of the past, limiting beliefs, fears, hesitations, resentments, old wounds, old heartaches, lack confidence, lack beliefs. We all need to let those go. And that's what the full moon does. It offers us a time to cut those cords. It offers us a time to release, to say, it doesn't serve me anymore. I'm letting this go so I can rise higher, so that I can accomplish greatness, so that I can fall in love, so that I can have meaningful relationships, so that I can live life fully. Whatever it is for you, it is all part of your journey, and you can craft it however you feel fit. But the full moon, and this one I feel is very important, especially coming out of that last full moon in Scorpio, with regards to us rising higher. So use this full moon as almost a continuation from the full moon in Scorpio, as almost a little bit of that last ditch effort to really push yourself, to really see what you need to do to expand, for you to rise higher, for you to spread your wings and fly. And if anything's holding you back from what I just said, if there's a hesitation or a limitation or a what if, or yeah, I want to, but if there's a but there, release it during the full moon. And how you can release it, you can write it down on paper, burn it safely, but there might be 50 things that you might want to release, and that's okay. At least you're identifying what they are. Because when we identify what they are, when we have the awareness, then we can let them go. So spend some time during the full moon, work on what you need to release, any fears, any limitations that are not in alignment with your authentic self, and see what's happened over the last month with yourself, with your emotions, any change in your awareness, in your direction, maybe having an aha moment. That is also going to play out and be part of this full moon as well. So it is your guide, and that is going to offer clues for you to advance forward. I also am hosting my beautiful ritual on the 14th. I am going to guide everyone through this energy, through transformation. We're going to be releasing, we're going to be learning about the archetype of Sagittarius a bit more, and I'm going to offer the one-on-one readings as well as a very transformative meditation to let go of the past, to heal old wounds, and to get ready to fly into your future. So hopefully you can join. The link is below. Spaces are limited. But I hope to see you there. And I do hope this video found you well when you need it the most during this time as we enter this beautiful full moon. I'm going to leave a little bit more information about the full moon below as well for your reference. And I'm wishing you all the best at this time. Take care.